All right, guys. So let me start saying I have a master's degree in emergency management. So I studied a lot about earth sciences. Everything has to do with earthquakes, tsunamis, weather, any kinds of winds. That's why I talk a lot about winds when I'm talking, making my presentations about there is no Coriolis effect, like Earth is not spinning. We have winds coming from west to east, they are called jet streams. And the winds going from east to west, they are called trade winds. An airplane flying straight from south to north, they have to adjust for the winds coming both directions. So there's no Coriolis effect due to the rotation of the Earth. So I have to study all that stuff. So what we are looking here, this is the tsunami that happened. There was an earthquake in Indonesia about 10 years ago or 15 years ago, a long time ago. So this is the pattern. When a tsunami happens, the energy is dispersed equally to every side. So this means all the waves, they keep coming, and one characteristic of tsunami, it wraps around places. This is Madagascar here. You can see how it was totally wrapped around. So this is a definition, the ability of a tsunami wave to bend around and through the islands. It's called the wraparound. So here, image number one, you see the tsunami approaching here, this region. And number two, this area of impact, and then number three, and when it's number four, you see totally wrapped around that region, right? So here we also have another image showing that tsunami wave is approaching an island. And here we have what we call diffraction or diffraction, depending on where you are in the US. But the islands are totally wrapped around. The water just keeps going forward. Okay, so this is a animation of a simulation. This is Las Palmas, and if a tsunami happens, you can see how the waves and the energy disperse everywhere, goes not just forward but behind. And if we ever happen this uh, tsunami happens in Las Palmas, that's the damage. The areas here in Brazil, Florida, it would reach the whole Atlantic, would cover the whole Atlantic. Now here we have one that happened in the 1700s in the North America, okay? It's called Cascadia, North America, January 1700s. So I want you to pay attention here, it's really, really important. See the waves, see this is the tsunami, right, coming, right? This is the whole Pacific. Now pay attention, this is Hawaii. The waves when reach Hawaii, it's gonna engulf them, the islands here, and it's gonna spread all over the Pacific. Okay. Now pay attention here that some of the waves once they hit Hawaii, they bounce back, they go back. Okay. Very important information. So pay attention. This is the earthquake happening in this region here in North America, how it spreads out all over the Pacific, reaching Australia right here. So this is the way it happens. Now let's look at this one. This one is the one of the most important one for the presentation today. This happened last year in New Zealand. So pay attention how the waves are going to wrap around Australia. Now, Australia is a big continent. Okay, it's a huge continent. But you see here wrapping around Australia and it's spreading all over the Pacific. Now, the point I want to make is this one here. In 1960, we had the biggest earthquake ever to be recorded in modern history. We had a 9.5 earthquake in Chile, right here. The earth shook for 11 minutes. Now I live here in Japan. We do have earthquakes here. Several times I had to run out of the apartment because all my phones start playing, like the earthquake alarm, but never lasts more than 1 minute. But can you imagine like an earthquake shaking the earth for 11 minutes? So this is how bad this earthquake was back in 1960, 9.5 Richter scale. Now, as we had just seen before, when we have a tsunami, the energy is directing now regions. So you'll see here the point of the earthquake and the energy going to all directions. Now, if you are smart enough, you might have seen something here. You might have noticed. This is Australia right here. This circle means Africa, and we have Antarctica here. Now, one thing that you're never going to see, let me go to this slide here real quick. So this agency, it's the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, they released this image here of this earthquake in Chile in 1960, showing how it reached all the region of the Pacific. But they divided the map, so you cannot see really well, understand what's going on. So for this reason, I have fixed this, and I created this one where you can see exactly all the region that was affected by this earthquake in 1960. Now, there is something wrong here. When I sent the pictures to RV, he immediately figured things out here. And I'm going to show you in this next image right here. Just for you to remember that the tsunami, the energy spreads equally to all regions, all right? So what we don't have is a tsunami that wraps around Antarctica. Never in history has been recorded a tsunami that wraps around Antarctica. So why is it? I'll show you why is it. So I have created this projection here. I changed the NOAA's Mercator's projection into a flat Earth map, and you can understand now why a tsunami never wraps around Antarctica. It's because Antarctica is not a continent. There's no way the water will engulf Antarctica and pop up like I have here. Let's say the tsunami happened here in New Zealand. You're never going to see this tsunami wrapping around Antarctica and flowing, the waves flowing from south. And we never had tsunami alerts here in this region in Brazil due to the fact that a tsunami coming from New Zealand had wrapped around Antarctica, reaching this region. This will never happen. Now, why? Why is that? It's because Antarctica is not a continent on the bottom of a ball. Antarctica is this ice wall surrounding the flat Earth. So it contains the strength of the waters. It's contained here. Okay, it doesn't go. For those who think there's no ice wall, well, better believe it, because that ice wall contains all the strength and the energy from these waters. And actually, if we look at this image here, it not only contains, but it bounces back. Okay, it bounces back. That's why the damage in this region it's so great. All right, for you to have an idea, this 1960 uh, earthquake in Chile, the tsunami took 16 hours and destroyed Hawaii, and another 8 hours it reached Japan. So the next day, we had a lot of devastation here due to the fact that a day before, these waves were traveling and reached Japan right here, but it never wrapped around Antarctica. All right, so I'm going to show here the animation of this 1960 earthquake. And this also I put together because that's not the way they do, but I put together. So you're going to see here that it's contained. Antarctica contains, it's like contains the waves and the impact, the energy within the Pacific Ocean.
Eddie, I want to
Okay?
jump in. I want to jump in 1 second, Eddie. I just want to
Yeah,
mention it's funny how a lot of these maps, these flat maps, Antarctica goes across the whole entire bottom. It's like hinting, it's not like a semicircle on the bottom. It goes all the, it's like they're hinting at us about the 360 ice wall.
exactly. It's a big hint right here. So this is the official animation. You're never going to see these waves coming from the south and from the Atlantic. It's just it never erupts on our Antarctica because Antarctica is not this continent on the bottom of the ball. We have an ice wall, and this ice wall contains all the strength and the impact of these tsunamis. And it happens a lot of times, especially here in New Zealand. We have a lot of earthquakes here, and it should go this way, wrap around, but rather it will travel all the way and reach Alaska and the Bering Islands right here, but never erupts around Antarctica and comes and flows north from this region right here. All right. So basically, it's this thing that I want to tell you guys. We are surrounded by this ice wall, and the tsunamis never wrap around Antarctica because Antarctica is not a continent. And for those who don't believe there is an ice wall, you better believe because these waters are contained, and that's why you see the damage always made in this region right here. All right. So I'm okay now. RV, you can take from here. You can
Yeah.
ask me questions.
Well, this is really, really just adds to a lot of our research we've done over the years. And again, a lot of people are putting out, the basic information. It's important. Like I said earlier, it's important for people that are new to flat Earth to have the foundational things, just put out for them so they can understand that the foundational things. But at the same time, such as what you just showed right here, Eddie, this is really fantastic and really breakthrough information. And to me, this is just undeniable. There's literally no way around this, and I want to hear the Glober's explanation for this. And I'm sure they'll come up with some fantastical, denial of this, and
Yeah, they make things up. They
yeah,
lie.
yeah, that's what they do when they have no ammunition. They have to rely, no truth on their side. They have to go to the route of telling lies and math equations and
Yeah,
there was all this ice that was built up around Antarctica going all the way across the bottom at that particular, just some kind of nonsense they'll make up, just really ridiculous something of that sort, which is absurd as we know. But yeah, I don't think they'll even touch this. I don't think they're, I know they won't. They just will ignore your information about this because they have nothing on this at all. And this is really, again, really needs to be spotlighted. And it's very important for people out there that are listening in to really pass this live stream over, this information over. And obviously, all credit goes to Eddie the Flat Earth Banjo for this because, again, there's all these people in the world, and how many people are presenting information like this? Really nobody. And that's why I said it in my last live stream, the number one flat Earth researcher, and no doubt about it, that's what you are. And brother, this is really fantastic. And I'm looking at the people in the chat and, what they're saying, and basically the same thing. And while you're presenting, people are saying, wow, that's, pretty amazing how you're presenting that. And yeah, fantastic, brother.
Hi, this is Francis Miller from Flatten the Curve, directed by Vika Drazi. We're out here on the Pacific Ocean, just off the coast of California, where it is flat. It's a giant desert out here. I'd like you to check out the documentary, Flatten the Curve. You're going to learn a lot if you check it out. Merchant vessel, tanker. We're out here on the Pacific Ocean, watching the sunset. I'd like y'all to check out the movie Flatten the Curve. It's a great documentary directed by Vika Drazi. You'll hear from professionals like myself about the true nature of the Earth's shape. Check it out, Flatten the Curve. It's out now. Francis Miller from Flatten the Curve out here in the Pacific Ocean, where it is flat. Flat. Check out the movie Flatten the Curve, directed by Vika Drazi.